Good morning and welcome to Word on the Street. It's Saturday morning. I'm your host Jason, and we're down here at the Mendocino Access Studios interviewing homeless people and getting the word on the street. My guest today, I'm very excited to introduce JR to the show for today. JR?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot for coming in.
Yes, sir.
So I just don't know where to start. We've been talking, kind of getting to know each other a little bit. JR has been riding the rails for 23 years. He's my age. He's, 40s, early 40s, and he's got too many stories. We're just going to have to get started. So why don't we do a little chronological order, give a little bit of structure to this hour that we're going to spend here. And let's start with your childhood and how you grew up. What was it like? What did you do?
Like everybody says, started out in a pretty good childhood. You know what I'm saying? It was we was pretty poor back then. We was from South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, just living in a little tiny house on this little circle. You know what I'm saying? We used to go to church every Sunday morning, every Sunday evening, every Wednesday evening. If I didn't want to go, they told me I had to go anyway. No choice,
3 times a week you went to church?
3 times a week I used to go to church.
Yeah.
I used to have my uncle too a long time ago, before he died. He was good. He was good for me. We used to work on like small engines, all kind of stuff when I was a child. You know what I'm saying? And he kept me going. He kept me in a go-kart or a little motorcycle or something all the time. He'd fix something. If a go-kart tore up, we'd fix it. But he learned me how to work on like small engines and stuff like that.
You were the lucky kid I was always jealous of. I always wanted a go-kart. Had a mechanicking dad that never got it together to get me a little go-kart.
Well, see, my uncle spent the time. You know what I'm saying? That was my I got 2 different sides of the family. You know what I'm saying? I got like my step family and I got my real family.
Okay.
But I started with my step family because my dad, he was born in Vietnam, and he was my mom, she had me when I was in Vietnam, and I never even knowed her. My aunt actually adopted me. Well, while my dad was in Vietnam, because she just couldn't take care of me. I don't know what it was. Never even met my real mom, but I grew up in like a step family. It was my dad's sister, my aunt.
So your mom couldn't take care of you? And you
I don't know.
And so
I just been born. I don't have any idea.
Yeah. So your mom's sister raised you up?
No, my daddy's sister.
Your dad's sister.
That's my aunt.
Raised you up.
Yeah, she took me in, and that's what I call mom.
And you never heard what happened to your mom? You don't know? Would she go crazy, or is she alcoholic, or you don't have any idea?
I do not even know. Never even met her. I know her name was Joan. And she lives supposedly in Richland, South Carolina. But I never have met her or anything.
Yeah. Any interest?
Well, if I was to have a chance to get introduced to her, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'd probably do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, your dad went to Vietnam when you were how old?
I was born when my dad was in Vietnam. He was still doing tours in there.
I see.
Yeah, that's why,
So you didn't even meet him until he came back from Vietnam, and you were how old, 6 or something?
I was like 8 years old before I even knew who my real dad was. See, they like kept it from me, you know what I'm saying? He was real crazy back then, you know what I'm saying? When he come back from Vietnam, he was crazy, you know what I'm saying? They wound him up, but they didn't unwind him. They didn't know how to, you know what I'm saying, download you instead of upload you, you know what I'm saying? He was crazy. Yeah. He got like a bunch of trouble when he come back. They got a bunch of trouble in Florida back in the stockade for a while, but it was like 8 years old. We went out fishing. See, we used to go to my grandmother's house up in the mountains every Sunday. And I knowed I didn't look anything like my stepdad, you know what I'm saying? He's like big old, he's big around, you know what I'm saying? I'm like slim and trim, you know?
Yeah.
And I knew this guy looked like me, you know what I'm saying? And we went out fishing one day, and he said, I am your daddy, you know what I'm saying?
When you were 8 or 9,
when
he
I
told
was
you
about
this.
8 or 9 years old. We went on a little creek fishing for trout.
And what'd you think of that when he said that?
I knowed I looked more like him than I did the other one, but you know, but yeah, that's my real dad. You know what I'm saying? We look just alike.
Here we go.
Oh,
That's all right. That's all right.
I'm sorry.
Let's take a little
I got
moment
you.
here. A little bit higher, maybe.
Yeah,
That'll be good.
yeah.
Clip it on a little deeper. There you go.
There
That's
we go.
great. That's great. So he said that, and then the cat's out of the bag. What'd you do then? Did you go
Well,
live
actually,
with him?
I started going around him a lot more, and I started actually living with him.
Okay.
About part of the time.
Sure.
I'd go to my aunt's house part of the time. You know what I'm saying? I had a little car and stuff back then. I'd go to his house part of the time.
A little car?
Well, a little pickup truck. Well, I mean, not when I was 8 years old.
Right.
But no, what I'm saying is,
When
once
you're
I
a
got old
teenager.
enough to get, yeah, I started just going to live with him after that.
And how was it?
I didn't mean to skip over.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
We'll get there. We'll jump back and forth. You're just
Yeah.
so full of life stories.
Shoot, I got him.
So, describe when you started living with your dad, and how was he crazy, or was it tolerable, or was it fun?
It was. I tell you what. It was. Well, we used to log for a living. He used
Okay.
to log. He used to be a logger,
Uh-huh.
and he used to sheetrock. He used to like go to New York and back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes he'd be gone for a week or two. And I was still a little bit too young, you know, to do all this. But you know what I'm saying? We was really really poor at one time. But then he got hooked up with these people before he got out of Vietnam. You know what I'm saying? And he went to work for these people. You know, and started making started changing considerably. Especially when you start selling cocaine and marijuana, you know, like 30 pounds at a time, you know. And we come up for a while, and I don't know, man. It escalated. We got a construction company going. We got all this going. We had it all. We had like a trout farm. People come pay to buy trout. Fish for trout, pay for trout. All this. Had a catfish farm.
So
Had a hog farm. Had all this going on.
How old were you when this shift happened with your dad
I was
from
about-
logging to 30 pounds of cocaine
Yeah.
at once?
Well,
How old were you?
From about 10 or 11 to about 13 years old.
Okay.
And he went to work. Well, he's, you know what I'm saying? He just come out. He was hooked up with these people before he ever come out of Vietnam. You know, he just made a phone call, you know, and they hooked him up.
Made a
We went
phone
from
call.
one way to the other. And,
Uh-huh.
And yeah, we was pretty much working for the Miami Mafia for a long time. You know,
So that was
I mean,
that worked. That was lucrative, and all of a sudden you're not poor
all
anymore.
kind of money.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you got, you know what I'm saying, a construction company, a hog farm. That's our front right there, you know.
Sure.
You know, for years.
Yeah.
But well, where we messed up, we was living in, like, we had up there where my grandmother's old home place was. We had like 150 acres of mountains, and you know what I'm saying, it was going on up there. And we messed up and moved to another county called Westminster, South Carolina. That was our downfall right there.
Because
Well, that's easier for them to hem you up there than it is. They come around from all sides. Where we was living out in the mountains, they couldn't come around from all sides. And we had four-wheelers, motorcycles. Wasn't nothing in the house. It was all stashed in the mountains.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had to actually take a four-wheeler 3 or 4 miles to even go get. You know what I'm saying?
So
when
it
somebody
was,
came, you know.
It was your job as a young kid to
Yeah.
jump on the four-wheeler, run up to the secret spot.
Yep. And get it, and had the scales, weighed it out, everything, and come back with exact weight, and hand it to him, and he handed it to other people.
So it
Make
spent
the money.
So all this operation spent very
And
little
this
time in the house.
This wasn't a little bag. This is like 10 ounces at a time. I mean, this
Yeah.
10 ounces worth of cocaine is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the best you could get, you know. This used to be the real, but
Yeah.
it ain't. It's all Mexican stuff now. But
Yeah.
it don't matter about that. It's it was just, man, we had like sacks full of $100 bills, you know, just pound bags,
So
full as you could stack.
So what was that like as a kid? Did you just take it
It
in
was pretty
stride?
sweet. Well, I had a hog farm I had to take care of. You know what I'm saying? I was busy all the time. I was working 8-10 hours every day. I was busy.
Right.
Yeah. I just come and go. You know what I'm saying? I go to my old friends' parties just right down the road. You know what I'm saying? Down on the lake. We'd go and hang on the lake and all that. You know. But it was you know, I was still young then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling all this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But see, I'm not. You start getting up on age now. you start knowing what just happened. All that good stuff wasn't all that good.
So you started partying at an early age.
At a very early
because you
age.
had this.
I just had access. If I wanted an ounce, I could just go get an ounce. If I needed 10 ounces of a pot, I could go get that if I needed it.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't. There was so much of it, they'd never missed it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
Amazing. That's a unique.
And I'm riding around four-wheelers going 55 mile an hour through the logging road, just having a good time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, jumping hills. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I like to kill myself on one of them. I like to roll one of them 3 times going 50 mile an hour. I like to broke my neck, my back, everything, man.
Really?
Yeah, they had come pick me up on a slab, man.
How old were you?
I was about 15 years old.
Well, you bounced back when you were
Been
15.
up all night long, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So,
And my dad told me I didn't go to work that day. My dad said, do not get on that four-wheeler. He even told me that. He knew.
oh, really?
Yeah, and I did it. As soon as he left the driveway, I was on that thing.
So you hid it from him. He didn't know anything for a long time, though.
No, he didn't know nothing.
And this is when you're like 13, 14, 15?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
So
between
you
that
started-
and 20 years old before I started traveling.
So you
This is
started
before I started traveling.
before you started traveling. You
Yeah.
started partying early.
Yeah,
And-
12, 13 years old, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
First it was cigarettes,
Sure.
and then it was a little bit of pot. And then, hell, look at all this stuff. Look at all these white things in this bag, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just got like a little taste of it. My whole face turned numb, I just, whoa.
Uh-huh.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, Artie. Next thing you know, we're seeing who wants to do the longest lines and stuff.
Yeah.
It's bad, man. It's bad for you, man.
Wow. So when you took that first little bit.
But when you're a kid, things don't affect you until you start getting older. When you're
Right.
a kid, you can go up a whole week, still work on a regular job. Nobody never even know nothing's wrong with you,
Right.
Because
right.
you can just handle it, Start getting older, it starts affecting you different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a really rare situation. You were exposed
That's
to this
really
unlimited
rare. Yeah.
unlimited supply.
Yeah,
And you're a
yeah.
kid.
Every month they brought it to the house right at the front doorstep. Every month, had to have the money, or we get killed. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, they kill him and the whole family. Oh yeah, they sending a hitman on it. Mafia don't play, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You got to have their money. But yeah, they always bring you more every single month, right on the dime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were working a lot. You were busy. You were partying a lot, working a lot. You're young. Tell me of a tense time. Tell me of like a urgent situation or like during that time.
Well, urgent situation, I almost bled to death one night through my nose. We was like, me and my friends was at this little party and all this stuff, snorting all these lines, and I must have busted a blood vessel in my nose.
Sure.
I went down 2 towels, solid red with blood. I was so high, I almost probably bled to death. I know I bled over 2 pints, and I almost died. I didn't even know I was even dying. I almost died that night.
Wow.
Yeah, like 2 water faucets coming out.
What'd your friends say?
They said they don't care. They too high, man.
Really?
You save your own self, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of rough.
That is.
Nobody helping you out.
I sit there with towels.
Yeah.
Step up my nose and sit there with towels.
Did you ever get pressure? Did you ever have a crunch time where you had to get money delivered for the people that were delivering product to you and like having a tense situation over that, or did that all work well all the time?
It all worked well because it's all pre-done. It was there.
Your dad was a good businessman or something?
My dad is trustworthy, yeah, for that, yeah.
Huh.
Well, I am too, actually, but I
So
just
you
don't do it anymore.
Yeah. So
I
you
ain't
never got
getting into that.
So you didn't get ever stressed out or like
Not really.
scared
That was all my younger life.
of who you were working with?
I wasn't working with nothing. We was working with ourselves. We had our big front, our big farm and everything.
Yeah.
And as far as everybody knows, Rainbow Valley Farms, you know what I'm saying? Wasn't Rainbow Valley cocaine, Rainbow Valley Farms. That's our front. Yeah. Yeah, we grow pot. We done all that. We grow right in South Carolina.
My guest today is JR. We're talking about it all. Word on the street. Welcome to the show. So how did you get out of that, or how did that change? How did that change?
Well, we got in. My dad finally got caught with like selling a quarter pound of pot, right, in South Carolina,
Big deal.
They hemmed us up. Well, this girl come up, running up in the trailer, you know what I'm saying? And this guy's out here with the tinted windows, you know what I'm saying, in his truck. And her name was Dana Brock. And we know, I said, I told my dad about her. I said, man, you better watch it. She's going to get you busted. And she come running straight up in there wanting an ounce. And he sold her around. She had a camera mounted evidently in her pocketbook.
Yeah.
And that's what got it right there, a quarter-pound of pot. Watched her sell, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
An ounce of pot. Anything over an ounce is a felony in South Carolina, automatically. You're going to jail. But now we left there. We was wanted by the police when we left there. And we moved to Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
For like a year. And then we actually come back to the States to San Diego. And that was my first of my little traveling deal experience right there. But we was wanted both by the police when we left.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we was fugitives from the police.
And that's, can you ever return ever?
Oh yeah,
It's
I told we was
7
gone
years.
for like 8 years before we could come back. But when we came back, my dad still got extradited. He was still wanted. They didn't even say nothing to me.
Uh-huh.
And my warrant, after a while, my warrant went away. But his they kept him in jail for a couple of months and let him go on probation, which he don't drink. So they just skipped him off probation, just like go on, you're good. So it wasn't as much trouble as he thought he was, actually, after being on for 8 years, you know,
Yeah.
from your home, town, you know.
Yeah.
Had to stay gone and living in other places, you know.
So would he sell the farm or what? Give it up?
All that, well, the cops,
Oh,
yeah, they seized the land, all that.
wow.
Yeah, that's how they do it in South Carolina. If they catch you selling on your land, they just take your land.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Lickety split.
Yeah, yep. It's
Huh.
their property now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the house mysteriously burnt down and all this. Who knows what happened to that?
What's your guess?
I know. I'm not going to make
Yeah.
any opinion on that one. But
All right.
I guess we had insurance on it, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And I wasn't there. So my guess is you can guess.
Yeah, yeah.
I ain't gonna say any
Interesting.
names.
Interesting. So you mentioned when you came back from Hawaii, let's see, you lived in Hawaii from what, throughout your whole teens?
No, we just moved there for like a year.
Oh, for a year.
When we
okay.
left, when I was like 20.
Oh, and then you went to San Diego for several years. stuff
Then we
like that.
moved back to San Diego, up to Ogden, and we went to work there.
Okay, real quick, what was Hawaii like? How old were you?
20 years ago, it was pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they give you a nice check, food stamps, all that. You could make it as long as you get with 2 or 3 people, like in a little studio apartment, and all gather together. You know,
Yeah.
you can afford rent. You know,
Wait, so
Get about
you're-
$100 a month.
Your dad and you went to Hawaii?
Yeah,
Okay, and you're 20?
I was like, yeah,
Ish? Okay.
I was like a greenhorn.
Okay, so you and your dad go to Hawaii for a year because you're wanted on the east.
But we still stayed out west.
You
for
still what?
We still stayed out west.
Sure.
For over
Sure.
8 years. That's
But
what I'm
you
saying. We
went
lived
from-
all over the place.
But you went from having bags of bricks of money
Yeah,
to having food stamps
yeah,
and living in a little apartment
yeah.
with
Well,
other
as
people.
soon as that cocaine money went away,
Yeah.
yeah, it goes.
So he didn't.
Well, see, he got. Man, this is a long story.
yeah.
He got with this other woman, and they went off and blew a bunch of money,
Okay.
and without me too. And half of that was pretty much my money. You know,
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it don't. You know,
Sure.
hey, it comes and it goes. If you're in the deals, you making $1 million, and you get out of it, and then you ain't making $1 million no more. Yeah, that's pretty much how it is.
So then you came back to mainland, and you mentioned that it was your first time traveling, your first little taste of travel.
Yeah, the Hawaii deal was, yeah.
The Hawaii deal was.
Yeah, but see, my dad, there's a bunch of Vietnam veterans out there, and my dad, he's got a lot of friends out there. So I fit right in, you know, because I hung out with that crowd, you know,
Uh-huh.
with the Vietnam veteran crowd.
Uh-huh.
I didn't hang out with the Hawaiians, because they some crazy, they people get missing out there all the time.
Uh-huh.
You know, like mysteriously disappear, you know, never to be seen again.
Yeah.
You got, like, it's a live volcano on the Big Island. You got lava tubes, you can stuff people down, all that, you know. Go straight to a lava den, you know.
Really?
Yeah, incinerators, pretty much, you know.
Done.
Put somebody down with them, yeah, it's just,
Nothing.
it's an incinerator. Yeah, people, that's why they set
Have you
people
heard
down
those?
lava tubes down
Have
there.
you heard that story?
The what?
Have you heard
no,
that
I've
story?
heard it. People, that's half of what happens to people out there.
Really?
Yeah, start hanging out with the wrong crowds, yeah, they get rid of you.
They'll just put you down a lava tube.
And plus they got like great white sharks and tiger sharks all around them islands and stuff. There's no reef, so
Yeah.
Yeah, you got like you can get out there and you get a cut on your leg and a shark will just come up and gobble you up and take you down. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're there.
Do you ever surf?
I didn't surf. I watched people surf at like 12 o'clock at night out there and like at midnight on 40-foot swells. Them Hawaiians, man, they're like fish, man. Half of them's born underwater. Half of them babies, they're born them underwater.
Yeah.
They're automatically a fish.
Yeah.
3-year-old kids out there riding boogie boards on 30-foot swells. 3-year-old kid. I won't even get out there. You get killed like that. If you don't know what you're doing. You just got to be a fish.
So, okay, so now you're like 21 and you get to San Diego and you're going to live in San Diego for a while. What happens then? You still living with your dad? Or are you still partying?
No, we're
still
homeless.
poor?
We're homeless in San Diego.
Okay.
We're homeless and it's rough.
So
23 years ago, it's rough.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's rough. I mean, we was at like, actually at one time we was like, rolled out in our sleeping bags right on the sidewalk. We hung out around this little, they call it the Bumblebee Gang. And we hung out around them at nighttime, you know what I'm saying? They would fight amongst each other, but they wouldn't ever bother us. But at nighttime, just to be safety in numbers, we'd roll out right next to them, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know what I'm saying, where it'd be like next to a big crowd, but you don't want to be vulnerable. You want to be out there by yourself.
Right.
Because there's people out there, you know, some of these heroin addicts, and hell, they'll kill somebody over $5, you know what I'm saying, just to get their fix, you know. I've never been hooked on drugs like that, you know what I'm saying? I have never went around and busted people's heads for it or anything else.
Yeah.
But I always get what I needed, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't even, like I said, I'm not even indulging in hard drugs now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's take it through. Well, let's stay on this. So you got to San Diego and you're dirt poor. How come your dad couldn't just pick up business where he left off and like make a couple bucks?
He's a Vietnam veteran. He could be getting a check, you know what I'm saying? But he don't like messing with the VA. He's just like, you know what I'm saying? He's like anti-government, you know.
But why didn't he pick up his old business of moving product around and like get you guys out of this off the street? Wasn't interested in it?
You get caught, you go into prison the rest of your life.
Uh-huh.
I don't feel like doing the rest of my life in prison.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So how long were you guys on hard times in San Diego? Like a year
for
or two?
about a year. We just stayed there about a year, and then this guy we met up with, old Alabama, he said, well, I know a place to go. Let's go to Ogden, Utah, of all places. And there was like 6 of us together. We had me, Mikey, Dewey, Bobby, myself, and my dad. That's 6 of us.
Okay.
And we all come up. We just barely got enough money to get out of San Diego because it was rough down there, man. You stand in line for a food kitchen down there, you stand in line 3 hours. There's like 600-800 people standing in line. It ain't no 30 or 40.
Yeah.
And this is over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now we come up, we discovered Ogden, Utah. And as soon as we got up there and got to know a couple people, we went straight to work. Hell, we was back on the construction site and everything. We done great, yeah.
Okay, you
Done
got
great.
a big list of skills from your
Yeah.
life. You can do roofing and painting and plumbing and
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, professional interior, exterior painter. Yeah, I do all that, but shoot.
Let me turn this off. So things changed around in Ogden. And you guys
they
are
did
back
for
on your
years.
feet and you guys are back in a house and
Yeah.
how was
I
it?
met this girl, and she actually got it. My girlfriend, she actually went and got us a house to stay in right on the side of the river. I mean, we got our own bedrooms, everything.
Yeah,
You know, living
yeah.
sweet for a long time. You know what I'm saying? But
Wait, who had their own bedrooms? This whole group that you came with?
no. Me and my girl had our
Right.
own bedroom.
Uh-huh.
We give my dad his own bedroom and everything. We set him up and everything.
Sure.
Yeah, she helped. You know what I'm saying? She done that for my dad too, 'cause she liked my daddy.
Yeah.
You know, so it went on like that for a while. You know, I tell you what, it started going downhill, man. Like the work and everything. I mean, I've been all over the United States. I can't find a decent house to paint, man. If I could do one nice house, you know what I'm saying? I can by word of mouth. I can get more houses, but I just, you know, it's been rough the last couple of years for me.
Why don't you hire on with a paint company and make $8 an hour for a while and get an apartment?
Yeah, I can work one day and they'll be getting me more than $8 an hour.
Well, no, if you
Yeah.
paint your own house, but
yeah, right.
But you know, just to get inside and get know your tools in your living room and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Well, I got to figure out where I want to be first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying I want to be here.
How
I like Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
I like Colorado Springs, my favorite.
Colorado Springs is your favorite. How
The
much?
snows are a lot in the winter. You got to be inside there. You
Yeah.
know, there. You don't want to be out in the snow in the wintertime. There.
How much are you homeless by choice? Because it's a good, fun adventure or freedom, and how much are you?
Well, I tell you what, for a long time when I got into that train riding deal, I loved it, and I still love the freight train ride. You know what I'm saying? But I'm getting older. I'm not getting any younger. I do need to. I'm getting tired of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
but it was
homeless
fun.
thing. It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
And I got books to write. Well,
So-
we need to write some books.
Tell me your first train. Tell me your first train jump
Ogden, Utah.
with those guys, with that group.
No, just one. No. All the rest of them stayed there. Me and Dewey, my friend, went on a ride to Washington by ourselves. Now we left my dad. He's working. Bobby, all of them, they're working in Ogden, Utah.
Okay.
Me and him, we're going on freight train rides. We went to work in Washington for a while. But no, I was working with my dad. But no, I come in and out of Ogden, Utah, like periodically all the time.
Yeah.
Once I started riding,
It's your home base.
that was my home base.
It sounds like it still kind of is.
It is. I know everybody in that town. I got an apartment to stay in. I got a house to stay in.
So tell me the first, like, you caught a bug?
What now?
You caught the bug.
What do
You really liked it. You took to it.
Well, you get hooked on it. Yeah. Right
So
away.
what did it happen the first time you hitched that train to Washington?
No, the first time it did not happen because that was the worst ride I've ever been on in my life.
Tell me the story.
We
Tell
caught
me
the
story.
wrong train.
Yeah.
Yeah, we caught this. They was these double stacks. They call them the container carriers,
yeah.
the ones that stacked up like the boxes.
Yeah.
Well, we caught one without a bottom on it to
Okay.
start with, so we have to actually lash ourselves onto this train, and we're riding all night long through the desert. Ended up in like Portola, California, but it took us like 16 hours. We had to lash ourselves because it didn't have no bottom in it. It was the wrong one. It's like outside riding. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't
Sure.
even riding engines then. I graduated from that to the engines, but yeah, we caught the wrong ride to start with, and we like froze to death all night long. That was not a fun ride. When we got off in Portola, California, I was cussing my friend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I said, I started to slap him, but I didn't. But after that, I learned how to ride engines. I started riding the units. Right behind the engineer, the unit right behind the engine. I know. You got heat and air on that thing. You got a refrigerator with water in it. You got a bathroom.
Now, tell me how that is possible. That sounds impossible to me, that they would let you do that.
They do, though. That's according if you know what you're doing or you act like you know it. They know me by name. And they say, hey, what's up, JR, when they come back to do the paperwork. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, most of them knows me on them lines, yeah.
So you're there in...
They'll take me right into Ogden, Utah. I get right off the freight train just like the crew does. When they getting off, I'm throwing my bag off, right in the snow.
Yeah.
Straight to my apartment. My buddy's apartment.
Right.
So I got houses set up here and there. Yeah, I got places to stay.
You can
It's just not
couch
here.
You can couch surf across the country with
I know
people that you know.
everywhere,
Yeah.
all over across the country, yeah. Up and down.
So you rode the rails for 23 years so far.
Yeah. Well, on and off.
On and off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but I do have to catch a ride if I need one.
Yeah. So
I can go the distance.
So tell me how one gets from Los Angeles to New York or whatever it is, a long route. What do you do? How do you swing it?
Well, I caught a freight train out of Redding, California over here, on the other side, on the east side of California. And I rode all the way through like Roseville, all in places. All the way. I ended up in Macon, Georgia. I rode actually all the way across the United States on one. 25 8-hour crew changes. Now I took breaks here and there. I got off at little towns here and there. You know what I'm saying? Went to the grocery store and got groceries and water and all that stuff. There's already water on the train, but yeah, I took breaks. But it took me like a week and a half to get all the way from there. That's a lot of hopping and a lot of crew changes.
And do the bulls?
I've been run off the train with bulls. They usually just tell me to get off the engine.
So
I get off the engine, go into the bushes, and as soon as they leave, I get right back on the engine and ride anyway. This is shit.
So you haven't got
Got to be a ninja out there. And I only hop at night. Like at nighttime, I got all black clothes. I mean, you don't even usually know I'm there till we're out of the yard gone. Once we're out of the yard, they come back and do their paperwork. Hell, we're out in the middle of nowhere anyway. They're not gonna kick me off anyway.
And you're friendly with them, or?
Of course, I'm friendly with them. They brought me back sandwiches, drinks, all kind of stuff. The engineers, yeah. Hell, they're making $80 an hour.
Yeah.
Good Lord, man. They're
Yeah.
the best paid people in the United States.
So they come back. Like, tell me a typical.
I mean, a sandwich like to them, what would that hurt you when you're making $80 an hour?
So tell me describe the typical scene where you jump into one of these secondary third units, and you're out in the middle of nowhere. A couple hours goes by, and they come back to do paperwork. Now the engineer has to stay.
The main engineer has to stay with the front engine. He cannot leave that unless he has a big cause for it. Unless they just break the air on the engine, and shut it down.
Right.
Yeah.
And then.
And he's got to have a good reason to do that. And he's pretty pissed off if he has to get out of that seat.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And then the assistant.
The assistant is the only one that really knows I'm back there.
Okay. So explain to me the typical scene. You're out there. You're in the middle of nowhere. You're a couple hours out of the yard, or an hour out of the yard, or whatever.
Yeah, in the middle of the desert.
And all of a sudden, the assistant engineer comes back and he sees you.
Yeah, I'm sitting right there in the seat.
In the pilot seat with all the buttons around you.
Well, yeah, but I don't mess with it.
Sure. And now what does he say?
You got a heat and an air button. That's the only thing I mess with. And you got to know where to find that. You got to know what you're doing.
Sure. Okay. So they're all the.
I've actually slept on it. You know what I'm saying? Slept on sitting in the yards, like sitting there like 3 or 4, just like parked inside of a yard. I've actually slept on them. I take me a piece of cardboard up there, you know what I'm saying? They're pretty clean on them engines, you know what I'm saying? It's like real quiet. It's a time capsule.
Yeah.
You can got locks on the door. You know, only one that can get in there is the main engineer. Even the engineer helper ain't got a lock for that door.
Really?
He even got a key for the door. No, it's like.
So what happens when he comes back and he sees you sitting there all pretty with water?
Well, he said, "Hey, what's up, JR?"
Really?
Yeah.
Because you know a lot of these guys.
I know a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
And they know I don't mess with all these buttons. I'm not about to start messing all that. You gotta. It tells you how fast you're going. You got like a whole computer thing laid out there. It looks like the inside of a jet airliner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can imagine.
But no, I don't. I know the heat and the air button is, and if it gets cold, I'll turn that heat on. If it gets hot, I'll turn the air on. That's all I touch. I don't touch anything else.
Yeah.
I go use the bathroom in the bathroom. I'll drink their train water.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't bother anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just let you do that.
They let me do it.
When was the first time you got the nerve to go up there, or got invited, or?
I went up to the front engine before and was talking to him. I shouldn't do that, but see, the main engineer, usually the engineer helper don't never say nothing. You know, he just like, you know. You know, he's not supposed to leave his seat anyway.
Yeah.
If he does, he's mad.
Has that ever happened?
Do what?
Has that ever happened to you?
Yes, happened 1 or 2 times.
Yeah.
But,
what happened?
I've had them to stop in the middle of the desert between here and Reno, Nevada. In Reno, Nevada. I mean here in Wendover, Nevada, and stop, and the engineer helper get off and come back and bring a sandwich. Now, just according to who the engineers are, some of them's cool, some of them ain't.
Yeah.
Some of this new generation stuff, man, it ain't with it, man. I mean, you know, but now I've had them to call the bull on me, but you know what? I see the bull on the other side of the train. I'm sitting on the back of the nose of the unit. When that thing slows down to about 10 miles an hour, I'm off of it. And if he can get around there first before I go to the side of the hill, he can catch me all he wants.
Didn't make it that time, huh?
Do what?
He didn't make it that time.
They didn't make it hardly ever. No, I've just had to sitting still in the yard and walk up on the engine. I don't ever get on the fly. No, they don't catch me.
Huh?
Nah.
I'll be darned.
But so you don't usually go up there and start up front and walk in the back of the door and start talking to the engineer anyway, the main engineer.
Right. Just mind your business.
I know that I was not where I was supposed to be. I know I was in Portola instead of Reno. You know what I'm saying? I just asked him, "Are we in Portola yet?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, we are." And I said, "Will you stop this train before we get in the yard?" That pissed him off. He said, "No, I only stop this train in one place only, on the other side of the yard." And as soon as we went by the guard shack, here comes he pulled right out. I'm sitting on the end of the nose of the unit, outside with my backpack on.
Yeah.
I mean, there's steps that go all the way down to about this far off the ground on the engines. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, you can like step right off of it.
And here comes the guy driving.
No, he's on the other side. I'm looking at him while he's looking at me. I'm turning around like this.
Sure.
Sitting on the end of the nose, because they point the nose is different.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting like right here, and I can see this bull is on the other side of me. We're running 45 mile an hour. He's running on the other side of the train right there where he's just as fast.
Yeah.
Right down the side of the railroad track. Now, he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him. That thing slows down about 12 miles an hour, buddy. I get off of it. And, I mean, running off of it. Over the hill, down the side of the mountain. If he could have called me, he'd have had to...
He wanted to catch you.
Well, I pissed the engineer off. I went up
Yeah.
there and asked him questions. He didn't even know I was on there.
Oh,
On the
geez.
engineer helper. And I just know the, are we in Portola yet?
Yeah.
I was wanting him to stop that train before we got in the yard, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he didn't know, man.
So
According to who you make.
my guest is JR today. This is Word on the Street. I'm your host, Jason. Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a little break, and we'll come back in a couple minutes and finish the show.
I slept between boats, made money off poems. That summer in Seattle, I never was alone. I hung with the homeless, took care of each other. I was closer to them than I am my own brother. We gathered and shared meals every night. Round fires we'd ramble till dawn brought us light. There was lovers and dreamers, addicts and thieves. We'd share with each other our deepest beliefs. About pain from the past, how life had been tainted, or how life's just a canvas waiting to be painted. We talked of possibilities that never really end, how the heart that's broke the most would eventually mend. While some worked for power, for gain and for gold, our possessions were little, but rich was our soul. No moments or choices, between love and between fear. If you open yourself, there's family near. We weren't each other's siblings, fathers or mothers, though all is were family in Seattle that summer.
Okay,
And that's
hold on.
about all I can say.
All right, we're back with JR, talking about rails, talking about riding the rails, talking about Ogden. Yeah, tell me something.
Well, what do you want to know?
Yeah, tell me about those dangers out there and stuff.
Yeah, there's dangers out there. You got gangs here and there that are so-called little. Most of them's young people now. You know what I'm saying? These young kids and stuff. They ain't much of a threat to me. You know what I'm saying? But you have like some of the older ones. Most of them people's done been caught. You know what I'm saying? They had a guy like, for instance, his name's Sidetrack, and as far as I know, he's probably killed two of my friends out there. He's wanted for like 32 murders, as they know of. But they caught him here a while back in Ogden. He stabbed and killed one of my friends. His name was Spider, and he was a good friend of mine. He was a man that would give you the shirt off his back, give you the last can of food out of his backpack, and he got caught when he killed my friend Spider coming out of the yard there. And somebody called on their cell phone, and they stopped the train and caught this guy. And his name was Sidetrack. I would like to pull the trigger, you know what I'm saying? I'd like to pull the thing himself, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go out and killing the good people out here, you know.
Yeah.
That's what he done, went around and killed the good people.
So this guy was crazy.
This guy was crazy.
And when did
But
he
he got
get
caught.
5, 10 years ago?
It's been about 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, something
Okay,
like that.
okay.
Yeah.
And did people didn't know who he was?
Well,
Nobody
they didn't
knew,
really.
like you might have ridden
Some
with
of these
him.
people have two or three different personalities. Like they could be straight and be standing there talking like me and you are. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
They get 2 beers in them, they liable to change into a different, totally like a maniac. You know.
Uh-huh.
And like you turn your back to take a leak, they liable to stab you in the back. You know. And you're riding the rails. You're going down the rails. And they'll take whatever you got, rummage through whatever they want, take what they want, throw the rest of it off the train too, whatever they don't want. Put it in their backpack and going down the rails bragging about it down the railroad track somewhere. No, that's what got him caught. He went around, evidently he got drunk and bragged on it every now and then because people knows about it. You know, people was telling me about it.
Really?
Yeah. I hear word of mouth all the time, all over the streets and the rails.
Yeah.
And when I'm riding rails, I know everything that's going on all the way across.
Yeah.
Yeah, people I know tells me. Yeah.
So
I have inside information when I'm out there. Pretty much.
So
I'm not you know what I'm saying? I'm like as far as from the police you can get, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But I know what goes on when I'm out there in the midst, yeah. I know what happens.
What's going out there right now? Anything going on?
Pretty chilled out right now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the rails are pretty cool. Except for one straggler here and there you got to watch.
What do you mean a straggler?
Well, somebody's just waiting on get somebody drunk enough where they can rob them.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people do that. They'll just hang out. And I had this guy here in Reno here a while back. I was going back to Ogden, you know.
Uh-huh.
And I was over under the bridge, you know, where the catch-out spot is. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
That's where they stop. They slow down there. I catch there at night. And I've been sitting there waiting all day long, you know what I'm saying, by myself, you know. And here comes this guy around there, you know. He's got a big old bottle of liquor. He keeps on trying to offer me drinks of liquor and stuff, you know what I'm saying? He's trying to get me drunk enough where he can just rob me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just, you know what I'm saying, I got my own drink, you know what I'm saying, and all this.
Yeah.
And I finally just picked up a stick and said, get back, you know, get away from me, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to rob me today. You pick somebody else, you know what I'm saying? I'm too smart for that.
You could tell.
Yeah, I could tell what he was trying to get me in on, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went ahead and dissolved him right on off, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
if
got
you don't get away from me, I'm going to hit you with a ball bat, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got a sixth sense, or
I got, well, more than that.
how many times have you been robbed in these?
Probably 2 times my whole life.
Really?
Yeah.
That's unusual.
And it takes 3 or 4 of them to rob me, you know what I'm saying? Not just one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So what happened the first time? How old were you?
I was about 25 years old. I didn't know, well, rob, what I call it, they just stole my backpack to start with.
Sure.
Next time I'm like in Eureka, California, and 3 or 4 of them catch me in a tent and beat me up while I'm still in my tent, knock me out and leave me for dead, and they rummage through whatever they want to. And they got a bunch of robbers right behind the Bay Shore Mall, too, up here in Eureka.
Yeah.
It's a bad area right there.
Really?
Yeah. If you're back there by yourself, you're vulnerable. Because you got a bunch of tweakers back there, they're just waiting on to jump on somebody in the middle of the night in their sleeping bag. They like to catch you in their sleeping bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to...
About 3 or 4 in the morning, you know what I'm saying?
Hard to fight when you're all cozy up in your bag.
Well, 3 or 4 of them, too, you know. You ain't got a chance, you know.
Yeah.
If they catch you laid down,
Yeah.
they just like come out of the bushes on you, you know what I'm saying?
So are things
Bad area up there behind the Bay Shore Mall.
Are things getting more violent or less violent over the last 20
years?
years?
It varies.
It just comes and goes and comes and goes?
It's waves.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of these people, before it's over with, they'll all get caught. Hey, you can only do something like that so many times before it catches up with you. You know what I'm saying? One night they'll be robbing somebody, and they'll rob a wrong person that's got a gun, and they'll blow them away. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Nobody will miss them or notice anything.
And nobody won't miss them. They'd probably give you a medal for catching them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They wouldn't arrest you if you did.
So that's another thing. Like there's a violence out there that we don't experience in day-to-day life.
Nope.
You know, like
Now, if you're in a house in a nice neighborhood, you'd never experience this.
Yeah.
But even things happen and like that.
Well, sure, but like we go to the brewery at night, we go to the bakery in the morning, and
Right.
we don't have to see, or we don't see anybody ever punched up or beat up or rolled over or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, it's just another world.
It's another world. Yeah, it's like when I sleep out, I sleep with one eye open, one eye shut.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't usually even sleep when I sleep out.
Uh-huh.
I just like lay there with my eyes closed. I don't even zip my sleeping bag up where I can get right out of it.
Yeah.
I got a stick laying there, a couple of rocks.
Uh-huh.
I got a big pocket knife, you know, whatever, you know. And still, I'm still vulnerable to 3 or 4 people. You know, if they all got sticks, you know, I might not even get up out of my sleeping bag. I'm done hit. I'm down, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just happened right there.
What do you do?
Well, nothing you can do unless
Yeah.
you get the first lick in and scare the rest of them where they run. You know.
Have you done that a lot?
I have done that before, but I've had it. Shoot, man, you're vulnerable when you're out there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tell me a story about that.
Yeah, Pueblo, Colorado. I was riding trains in, and they invited me to this little tramp camp over there. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
I think it's probably FTRA camp where it was.
That's a gang?
That's sort of a gang, yeah. Well, it is a gang. Most of them done dead or too old now. You got a lot of young kids now that's calling themselves FTRA.
Uh-huh.
They don't even know what's going on. I've been out for over 23 years. You know what I'm saying? They're just kids to
Yeah.
me. You know.
Yeah.
I call them kids. When I meet them, I say I'll call them kids.
Uh-huh.
I don't initial them as grown-ups. They're just kids. They're you know, they don't even know what they're in. You know.
Different generation.
It's just different, young, dumb generation. Man, this generation is messed up, man. But
So you're
no,
over
I was
there?
in like Pueblo, Colorado, and they invite me to this camp and all this stuff, and everybody's eating, cooking steaks, you know, on the grill and all this stuff. Everybody gets to drinking. That's we get all get about drunk. You know what I'm saying? all of a sudden one of them tries to drop kick me right in the face, man. I just barely grazed my nose. He's like, must know Taekwondo or something, man. He tried to drop me, kick me in the face, and I fell backwards, and the rest of them was on me, and they beat the shit out of me and all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? I barely got away and all this, you know what I'm saying?
Wait.
Just
Just spontaneously?
Yeah.
Just like
Turn from one person to another.
So it was kind of planned.
It was probably kind of planned.
Sure. And you just made a scramble for it?
I made a scramble for it and got away. I got up on the railroad tracks where there was rocks at, you know what I'm saying? We were right beside the railroad tracks. And I said, well, y'all want some more? Come on now, you know?
Yeah.
But they didn't ever come out of the bushes. And I heard them holler, if you come back down here, we'll kill you. Well, why don't you invite me there to start with? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've been riding the rails longer than they have, and they're a bunch of wannabes.
Yeah.
Younger people, you know.
Uh-huh.
One, this old man, he must have been the clan of the group, you know. But I seen him the next day, you know. I said, you tell your young friends you want something, come on the other side of the town down here. I got some friends down here, you know.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, that's just, you know. They caught me up at one time. That's all right. They didn't hurt me that bad.
So you got away with it?
Well, I ain't dead.
Yeah. You didn't get beat up too bad?
No.
Yeah.
I got a hard head.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad he missed me with that drop kick, boy. He was almost
Yeah, you would have been in trouble with that one.
Yeah. Well, if I didn't sense, I'd just pick this leg up and slap it straight down on the head, you know. But I didn't do that. You know, I was about drunk.
Oh, your mic fell out. Let's.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Do it every time, don't it?
No, it's the.
Okay.
Needs to be. And there we go. So so how have things changed? Like you say, there's a bunch of problem. There was people out there killing people. There's some nasty, real serious stuff going on.
Yeah, they are. But you don't never know where it's going to be, because half these people, you can't tell what they're thinking. They might look like a normal person.
Right.
But see, I have like a certain sense, you know what I'm saying? But still, I can't tell it all the time, what's going on. Yeah. I don't know what's going through these people. I can't read these people's minds all the time.
Tell me about instances where you've sensed the whole situation and just avoided it.
Well, the other day,
okay.
Right down here behind the Rileys down here on the railroad tracks. I was down there by myself walking up railroad tracks toward the Buddy Elder Center. All right, well, they just two guys down there sitting down in the field down there, and never seen them in my life. And I know all these little towns. I pretty much know who's who.
Uh-huh.
All the way up and down through, all the way down to Walmart, all the way back,
yeah.
all the way to Arcata, all the way through 299. I know, you know what I'm saying. I met up with most of these people. They were pretty cool. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't see these two guys, man. They was trying to coax me down there. They kept on saying, you want to smoke a bowl and all this shit? And I said, no, I'm good. And then they got a big attitude. Oh, yeah, all this stuff. And one guy's sitting way up here on point. I can see him. Another guy's sitting right down here, both of them big old guys. I'm just a small guy myself. But I'm by myself. They know I'm down there by myself. They was trying to coax me down in that field. I'm sure they was going to try to rob me, but I just didn't go. There was something went up my back of my spine, the back of my head. I said, nope.
Yeah.
Not time to do that.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cut right off.
Huh.
Yeah.
And that was just the other day.
That was just the other day.
And how often does that happen out there in the world? Once a month?
Sometimes once a month, sometimes once a week, sometimes it'll be a couple months before it happens.
Uh-huh.
But there's some people that, you know, you get little old me out there with two big old giant guys, you know what I'm saying?
It's over.
Well, it ain't over. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm liable to get the best. You know, I know what I'm doing, too. I'm pretty fast. Uh-huh. But I don't want to have to go through that.
Sure.
I don't have to go to court saying I had to kill these people and all this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, or they kill me.
Have you ever been in jail or prison?
I've been to jail.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What for? Just ruckus fighting or?
Most time, like public intox or something, just got caught drinking a beer.
Uh-huh.
Or like an open container or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Got caught smoking pot a couple times.
Uh-huh.
You know, it really ain't nothing that serious, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not, no. No, I've been to jail a few times, but it's just most of this small stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it ain't for not beating people up or nothing like that, no.
Yeah.
No.
But
that's why I say people takes my kindness for weakness a lot, you know.
Uh-huh.
I'm a pretty nice guy, but, you know, I do know how to get down. But I don't like violence anymore. When I was a kid, I didn't care. I walked in the street looking for a fight, but I don't do it now.
So when you were a kid, you would put brass knuckles in each pocket.
Yeah.
because of where you lived and how it didn't
Well, man,
matter?
where I live back east, hey, I tell you what, there's a different kind of people out west as there are back east. Like you got they call it so-called north and the south out there.
Sure.
And all the black people are like different. You know what I'm saying? They're different. You know what I'm saying? White people and black people, they don't get along too good out here. There's black people out here that actually know how to act. You know what I'm saying? They know how to talk. You know what I'm saying? And get along with everybody. Out there, there's a totally different clan. I mean, out there, they you know what I'm saying? They trying to. They'll rob you if they get a chance. They'll rob you in a heartbeat.
Well, that's here too.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know. But what I'm saying is, they got attitudes out there, man, big time. But not so much as out here now.
Huh.
No, it's a little bit different out here.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's cool. Like L.A. is a different story. But we're in Northern California. We're above San Francisco. You know what I'm saying? You get on down. Yeah, it gets worse as you go down.
So how have things changed riding the rails in the last 20 years or in the last 10 years? Have you noticed anything changing?
It's tightened up, but the people that they know that don't bother anything and don't get any trouble out there, the ones I know on these lines I ride, they don't bother me.
Uh-huh.
No. But, I mean, it's just they've caught a lot of these people. A lot of these people's out there doing bad things.
Uh-huh.
They're either dead or they're caught or they're dead.
Did you ever think that you might have seen or hung out with Side Rail?
Hey, no telling. I don't know.
No way to know.
But it was just like certain people he picked and choose, you know what I'm saying? For what
Yeah.
I heard, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
I do not know, man.
I mean, he did this.
I'm not a serial killer myself. So.
I mean, he did this for years.
Yeah.
And so it's quite likely that you were hanging out around a fire.
Evidently, at one time, I probably was and didn't even know it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You never saw his picture? Yeah.
I've hung out with so many people and been in so many tramp camps, so many rail camps. Is half the time you don't know who you're hanging out with. You know, you can't see it in the dark. You know,
Yeah.
half the time who's there. You know,
Yeah.
you don't know who you're dealing with half the time. But that's why I started being a lot more careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my guest is JR today. This is Word on the Street. Wow, we only got 5 minutes left. Every week we take a look at homelessness and ask the questions and hear the stories and hear the reality of it all. Thanks for tuning in. I want to say thanks to my tech, Micah, back there running the buttons and the microphones and the lights and whatnot. Couldn't do it without him. This is Mendocino Access Television. This is your public access television where you can come down and become a member and do a show and interview anybody in the world, or this is your soapbox. This is your community tool, your creative outlet. We're right here in Ukiah. Stay tuned for an hour of trading time coming up and our fabulous slideshow of all the organizations and churches in town, and listen to the most popular show of the week on KZYX. That's coming up from 11 to 12. So getting back to, for the last few minutes here, we've got a couple minutes before we wrap it up, getting back to our guest, JR. So it sounds to me like it's a little nicer now, and there was a dangerous time of like 5 years or something like that, where it was kind of scarier than usual or a little nervous.
Like I say, it flusters, man.
Uh-huh.
You just don't know, but I'm telling you what, you can be in the nicest environment 1 minute, and you better know what's going on around you, because you can be in a real bad environment in the next second.
Give me an example.
It's according to who walks up to you, or according to what they're after, or what they're looking for.
Okay. Can you think of an example of how everything was pretty perfect and then it just went?
Yeah, you can be walking down the street 1 minute. You can be like a normal citizen, you know, living in a nice house, and you liable to step out of your house and get killed right there, you know, right on your own doorstep.
Uh-huh.
Liable somebody just drive by, shoot you or something, just for the heck
Well,
of it.
that's possible out there, but
I mean, it's very impossible for that, but it can happen.
It sounds like it's even more.
Well, it's more vulnerable out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you travel by yourself?
Most of the time, that's why I'm JR Incorporated.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I travel a lot by myself, and I stay a lot by myself. I had a little cat here a while back I traveled with, but I think the Cody's got her in Colorado Springs, man. I had her for 3 years.
You had a traveling kitty.
Yeah. She's bad, man. She'd whoop possums, raccoons, all that, but she wasn't no match for a bunch of coyotes. There was a bunch of coyotes up there. At the end, I moved her up on Colorado Springs. I think the coyotes might have hemmed her up. I don't know.
You
Somehow.
took her out camping, and she would just patrol the whole big
She'd
zone
patrol.
and come back.
She had like a 3 or 4 or 5 mile radius.
She'd like go for 2
I've
days.
had her to bring me rats trying to feed me before. Whole rats. Here, man. I raised her on tuna. I give her a can of tuna every morning. She got half of my food stamps every month.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever
I spent better on her than I did on me.
You ever eat a rat, or is that too gross?
No, I didn't eat a rat.
Rats are good eating.
No,
In
crazy.
another culture,
No.
China, you go to the mall in China, there's a rat on a stick, barbecued.
Yeah, you go right ahead. No, I don't even like squirrels.
So do you like hitchhiking or trains better?
It's easier to catch a train than it is a hitchhike.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you know where the crew changes are, you just get on one.
Have you ever had a scary? Have you ever been in a boxcar with somebody that was a bad situation?
I've been.
You were like, I got to get out of this
Yeah,
boxcar.
I've been in a boxcar. I didn't know who somebody was, but I didn't sleep that night neither.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
What do
He
you
was on
mean?
one end and I was on the other.
And you didn't make friends?
And
No talking?
no. As soon as that train slowed down, I got off. I didn't know who he was.
Why didn't you just say? Why didn't you just introduce yourself?
I tried to speak to him, but he wouldn't speak back.
Oh, he might have been crazy, or who knows?
Yeah, who knows? If he's on his own little world, let him stay there.
Yeah.
But I had my knife out. Come toward me.
Yeah.
You're not throwing me off this train.
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna throw you off the train. But I just ain't gonna do it. Ain't gonna happen.
So how about a crazy hitchhiking story?
Yeah, I had this lady one time to pick me and my friend up in Atlanta, Georgia. She must have been on LSD or something, man. She got us in that car. She was going down the road 120 mile an hour, like scared us to death. Took us like 30 miles off of where we were supposed to be and let us out like in the middle of nowhere. She was still laughing. She's like tried to run up around a tractor trailer and everything, man. She's trying to get this little car up under a tractor trailer in between the two wheels in the back of the trailer.
Really?
Laughing. Yeah, she's laughing the whole time. Like scared us to death, man. Yeah, when we got out.
Were you yelling at her to stop?
Yeah. We was going off the side of the road, and she just kept on going and laughing. She's going so fast, she'd have wrecked, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It'd have killed us anyway.
Well, when you say she was trying to get under the tractor trailer,
She must have been on LSD or something.
Did she touch
She
it
was
or
out
bump
there.
it, or just faking
No, she's
it?
trying to get up under it.
Did she bump into the car?
Right up under the tractor almost at one time. She was almost under there with her car. It's just a little tiny car, you know. It's only about that high off the ground.
That's not very fun.
No. No, she took us on a ride now.
Wow.
Yeah, you got to watch women, too.
I got picked up once hitchhiking, and I get into the car, I sit down, and we take off, and I look down, and there's a giant pistol sitting right there in the middle.
Yeah.
I was like, so what's with the gun? And he's like, oh, yeah, Vietnam, I don't know, I just got used to it, I always have it with me.
Yeah, a lot of people carries a gun.
Yeah, I was kind of nervous, but he seemed normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just used to, yeah, I know a lot
Well,
of people
JR,
carries
we're
a
out
gun.
of time. I want to say thank you very much
Yes,
for
sir.
coming in and telling us stories. And
That's just a few.
yeah, that's just a few.
Yeah, I still got 23 more years
Yeah,
off.
amazing collection. This is Jason with Word on the Street. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next Saturday at 10.
I gotta do this. I'm doing this.